One Piece does a lot of things good. Like, a lot. I mean, there's a reason so many people simp for Oda. Definitely not me, though. I would never do that. Nope. In all honesty, though, One Piece does a lot of things it does good. But I do think that one thing in particular is really underpraised. While everyone knows about the god-tier world building, the top-tier character building, and most importantly Zoro's chest, not many people talk about what I think Oda does masterfully. Character introductions. I think One Piece has the best character introductions in all of anime, and I think Oda has a special way of introducing characters that no other mangaka but him could have. Firstly, let's talk about why Oda in particular is so good at introductions. He's a kid. Like, not literally, he's 45, but you get what I mean. Oda has the most creative imagination I've ever seen, allowing him to introduce characters in the weirdest and most creative ways I've ever seen. For example, let's talk about Blackbeard's introduction. Blackbeard's introduction is quite possibly the weirdest thing I've ever seen, which is fitting because Blackbeard is the weirdest person I've ever seen. And not in a good way this time. Seeing one of the biggest villains in the show, in numerous ways, be introduced by eating cherry pies is actually, it fits perfectly with my last joke. Okay, tangent aside, one of the scariest villains and possibly the largest threat to Luffy's journey was introduced by eating a cherry pie. I already have an entire video focusing on Blackbeard, so I won't go into too much detail here, but Blackbeard's introduction was masterful for so many reasons. Not only did it have the goofiness factor that Oda possesses, but it also has the god-tier writing factor that Oda possesses. Oda possesses a lot of factors. Seeing a character who's the complete opposite of Luffy be introduced as the complete opposite of Luffy through, well, food, is something that only Oda can do. Because he's such a good writer while also being a kid at heart who's goofy and creative, he can have the best of both worlds by merging god-tier writing with creative-ass introductions. Another reason why One Piece has such good character writing is because of Oda's god-tier foreshadowing. I'd be willing to bet Oda has a direction for every single character arc in his mind, and he already knows what every character will go through until the end of the show. Because Oda's so good at subtly dropping hints about characters and lore and literally everything, he can introduce characters by giving them an introduction that fits perfectly and encapsulates their entire character. Damn, that's a smart word. Encapsulates. If only I could sound like that in real life. An example of great foreshadowing is Aokiji. When he was first introduced, well, I was just thankful to get away from Foxy, but when he was first introduced, he seemed like a chill guy.
Oh my.
What is it?
Another very sexy lady with super big bazonga.
Oh, okay, what the fuck? Chill, Aokiji. Actually, I mean, he is chill because ice powers, but like chill as in, I'm gonna stop talking. Aokiji at first seemed to be a menacing threat that could destroy the entire crew, which, well, he was. But also, we could see a little bit of kindness. Eventually, through Robin's backstory, we found out the true extent of his kindness and how he just wanted to make sure she wasn't lonely. Weird way of doing it, but okay. Furthermore, we also saw just how strong he was. While he was an admiral, we didn't know the true extent of his power, but through his introduction, we immediately saw just how strong he was. So, what do we know from his introduction? He's kind, very laid back, and strong as fuck. Also occasionally horny. Overall, that's a pretty accurate description of his character. The fact is, Oda can show us exactly how a character works and their beliefs through just their introduction, and while at first it may be unnoticeable, it's pretty evident that Oda is a genius. I'm such an Oda simp. Someone please send help. On top of everything I've said, Oda is also a master at evoking emotions through introductions. He can make readers feel emotions that they will remember every time they see this character. For example, Big Mom's introduction. It made all of us feel uneasy, especially because it's Big Mom. But for real, her introduction during Fishman Island made all of us so uneasy, which is an emotion we carried every time we saw her following that. She was oozing power and drool from the first time we saw her. Another great example of Oda introducing a Yonko masterfully is him introducing a Yonko masterfully. Why did I phrase it like this? Kaido's introduction is one of the most unique introductions ever, and one thing it did perfectly is it made us scared of him. He wanted to die, but even falling from heaven didn't hurt him. Side note, but you know that one pickup line that's like, hey, did it hurt when you fell from heaven? No one can even use it on him because it literally did not hurt. Me being annoyed that I can't flirt with Daddy Kaido aside, Kaido's introduction was a great example of Oda setting up an emotion we should feel when seeing a character. Him falling from the sky and not being hurt immediately made all of us scared for our lives, which is, well, it's accurate. Kaido was freaking scary. Anytime he came on screen, I was screaming. Screaming. He was one of the best villains in terms of pure scariness, which was made clear from the very beginning. Another reason why I believe Oda's character introductions are so unique is because sometimes you don't really know where the character will go. While some characters like Kaido and Big Mom are obvious that they're going to be villains, some other characters you really have no idea. For example, Jack. He was hyped up to be so much, and I remember reading about him and almost shitting myself. but he ended up losing more than Smoker has, which is, well, it's impressive. Not many people can suck that much. Take Robin, though, for example. Now, maybe I'm just dumb, but I did not see Robin ending up with the crew. We all saw her character and could predict what sort of character she would be, but I don't think any of us realized she would join the crew. Or maybe I'm just dumb. What I'm trying to say is, Oda is a master at getting us to think a certain way through an introduction, only to completely shift our perspective a few arcs later. In other words, he's a master at baiting us. And finally, the last reason I think Oda's intros are so good is because, well, they're just hype. Listen, while I tried to sound smart for the past reasons, this one is the monkey in me coming out. But come on, when Kaido was introduced, were you not screaming your ass off? So overall, Oda's introductions are top tier. He manages to do so much through a simple introduction, and honestly, he's a god at it. Along with literally everything else. Oda #1, hashtag OdaSimp. But for real, that's all for me. Thank you. And also, thank you so much for 250. You guys are crazy. Love you.